Hello, welcome back. Now we will jump to our new topic. Uh, I'm going to start with a topic of user and group administration. That's going to be the new topic now. And I have created one file for this administration, user and group administration. This is that file. So, what are we going to look into in this section? The concept of a group. Most of the people we know what a concept of a user is, but we will see what a concept of a group is. It's a very simple concept. A group is a collection of users, and users are usually collected together and they are given a name, and that name is a group. And the main purpose of this is actually for the permissions, and we will see the permissions in the next topic. But the group is mostly created for assigning specific permissions to a set of users, and that's what a group is. It's a collection of users. So that is the concept of a group. Then how are we going to manage these groups? There are certain commands, quite a few of them are there. The important commands that we're going to look into are group add and group delete. There is also a group modify command there. But we will look into these two commands. Then there is a user administration. These are the topics under user administration: how to create a user, how to delete a user, how to modify an existing user. When we create a user using the user add command, or when we modify a user, we can assign or modify certain properties of that user account, and these properties are shell of that user, home directory, a unique ID given to a user, the primary group, the secondary group, and how to lock and unlock those user accounts also. So all these things can be done by the user add and the user mod commands. And then the most common administrative task for a administrator is to assign a password to a user using the passwd command. And then little later on we will also see things like how to force user to change passwords on next logon. So the command is actually chage, and there are some options to chage. We'll see them, and the related files to the user administration, group administration, and the password administration are these files. So we will see all these things. This is the agenda for the user administration. So we'll jump into a concept of a group. Now let me open up another window. As I have already said, a group is a collection of the user, and then all the groups on the Unix operating system, whether it's an AIX operating system or whether it's a Linux or HP UX operating system, all those groups and related files are kept into the etc directory. So if you see in the etc directory, there is a file called as group file. This is the file. The size of this file is 1026 bytes, and the owner of the file is root. Only root is the guy who can read and write to this thing. Everybody else can read. I'm a root, so obviously I can write to it. I'm going to show you what is in this file. It will be list of all the groups. As you can see, let me start from the beginning. It's a huge list here. The very first group, the very first group is a group called as root. And who is the member of that group? A user whose name is root is a member of that group. Is a member of that group whose name is also happened to be root. So let us take another example here. Let us say I don't have any other example, but see, there is a group called as GDM. There is a group called as Pulse. There is a group called as KVM. And as you can see, there could be users inside this group, and each group is given a unique number. This is what is called as a group ID. Each group is given a unique number. So when we create a new group, an automatically new number will be given. So we're going to create now a new group here. So let me clear the screen. Group add, and I'm going to create a group called as JDeveloper, Java developer. So once I create a group called as JDeveloper, immediately a line is added in the group, and as you can see, this is that new group, and the unique ID that is given to that group, which is the GID, is 502. New groups are given new IDs. You have seen that it starts from 500, 501, 502, and it sequentially will go on. Let us see if I add another group called as a C programmer, C developers, then again take a look at the etc group file. It will be a 503 and C developer. So these are the groups that I have created. If I want to delete a group, then I can just say group del and the name of the user, CDVL, and the group is deleted. It is gone from that file. The last one is now JDeveloper. So this is how you kind of add groups and delete groups. So that is the first step of user management. You first create groups, and now you are going to create users. So obviously groups should be created first, and then the user should be created. Otherwise, when you are creating a user, you will not be able to add that user into a specific group. So now we will jump into the user administration, how to create users, delete users, and modify users. So let us see that now. Now before we do it, I want to show you what are the users that are already created on this system. So there is a file called as PASSWD in the etc directory under the root directory. This file contains list of all the users that are already created on this system. So the last user that was created is now vboxadd. There is another user called as Yogesh. There is a user called as Shekhar. All these are users. etc password file contains the list of users, and the etc group file contains the list of groups. Some of the groups and some of the users, they are having the same name, so don't get confused with the same user and the same group name. They are totally different concepts. They just happen to have same names. So now I'm going to create one user. Let us say user add, but again let me clear the screen. User add, and when you add a user, you can give a simple command, user add. Let us say user number is user1. This is the simplest command. I can hit and enter, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to give some additional information, and that additional information is like this: minus u, and let us say 1001 minus d is /home/user1, and minus s is /bin/ksh. So these are certain things that I have given to the user. These are the attributes of that user. The username is user1. Minus u means a unique number assigned to a user, which is the UID. I'm going to assign a unique number of 1001. Then minus d stands for the home directory of the user, the directory in which the user would be automatically logged in when he is, the directory in which the user will be automatically put in when he logs in. That is the minus d. This is the home directory. And then minus s stands for the shell. I am assigning a K shell. A shell is a program that gets started when the user logs in, and shell is a program which acts as a middleman between the user commands that user is typing and the operating system kernel. So these are three most important attributes of a user account. Again, I will repeat: the user ID, the home directory, and the shell. And there is one more that I'm going to add now, is the minus G for the group, the primary group, and that is going to be, let us say, JDEVL, Java Developer. This is the group that we have already created. So I'm going to hit enter now. The user is created. When the user gets created, an entry is made in the etc password file, and we'll see that. Remember these numbers here. The user ID is 101. This is the home directory. This is the shell. Now, as you can see, user 1 has been added. The user ID is 101. So these are the fields in that etc password file. Username is of our interest. Then the next one which is of our interest is actually the 1001. This is the UID. Then there is a home directory of that user which is also here, and this is the shell assigned to them. So we have mentioned out of the four things that we have mentioned: the group, the UID, the home directory, and the shell. I can show you that there are these three things. Now, where is the group here? The group of JDeveloper is not here, but actually if you see that this 502 number is actually the group number, is the group ID of the JDeveloper. Let us go and check that. Cat cat etc group, GROUP, and you will see JDeveloper is 502. That is what the JDeveloper is, and exactly that JDeveloper's 502 code is here in the etc password file. So this 502 is the primary group of a user whose user ID is user1, whose UID is 1001, and the home directory is this, and the shell is this. So this is how you create a brand new user. Now let us say if you have already created a user and you would like to change one of these attributes. I want to change the shell. So you say user mod -s, and I'm going to change the shell from bin ksh to bin bash for user user1. Now you will see that the shell has been changed here with the new entry of bin bash. If you want to change the UID, you can change the UID, and I'm going to make the UID from 1001 to 1002, and the UID will also be changed to 1002. So user mod is the command to change the attributes of an existing user. That is the user mod command, modify, and then the user add command is to add a new user, and user del is to delete an existing user. So I will now delete an existing user. Now the way you delete it is user1. Now if this user has already logged in and if he has created his home directory and files in that, you should use an option of -r here, means also delete his home directory. If there are any files in his home directory, all those will be gone, and that is what I'm going to do now. User del -r, the user's entry will be gone from the password file. You don't see any user1 here, and then you will not also see, let me go to the home directory, you will also not see his home directory there. Only Yogesh and Shekhar are the two users that are there. So this is how you actually do the user management here. So I have shown you how to assign a shell. I have shown you how to assign a home directory, a unique ID, the primary group. I haven't shown you how to assign a secondary group, and I haven't also shown you how to lock and unlock users. So let us do that. The secondary group. First, do we have another group? I think I deleted a group from the group group file. So etc group. I have a Java developer. Let me add a group again. Group add C developer. I have a new group now, which is a C developer here, and now I'm going to change user mod minus capital G and CDVL, and the name of the user is user1. I have already deleted the user, so now let me create a user. User add minus G is Java developer minus capital G is C developer DEVL, and then the username is user1. I am not assigning any UID, any shell, and those will be defaults. Now you see that minus lowercase g is the primary group, minus lower capital G is the secondary group. And now see how it looks in the etc password file. This is the user's unique ID, and this is the user's primary group, cat etc group. I keep forgetting that, GROUP. This is the 502, which is the Java developer, and the primary groups are always listed inside the password file. But where are the secondary groups? And those are in the etc group file. As you can see in front of the C developer, this is the GID, the group ID of the C developer group, and this is the user for, or one of the users in the C developer. If I create another user now, I will show you this. If I create another user called as user2, it will also be shown in the etc password file, that is fine, but also in the etc group file. So now user1 and user2 are members of C developer, that is the secondary group. So let me summarize this whole thing. I went through my last section of secondary group little faster, but to assign a secondary group to a user, use a -G option and here -g option. And similarly, to lock a user and unlock a user, lock a user is L and unlock user is U. So the way we do it is like this. So if I want to user mod -L user1. So this user has been locked. He will not be able to log in now. If I want to unlock this same user, I just type this U and a user will be locked, user will be unlocked. How do you check if the user is locked or not? You type the command etc shadow. Now in the etc shadow file, if there is an exclamation mark here, that means user is locked. When the user is created, these are locked users. The second exclamation mark shows you that user doesn't have a password. So we are now going to see in the next section how to assign passwords. But just remember, this is to unlock the user and this is to lock the user. L is to lock and U is to unlock. User will not be able to log in if he is locked. Exclamation mark shows you that the users are locked. All these users, NTP user is locked. The first exclamation mark, you will see two exclamation marks here. The first exclamation mark shows that the user is locked, and the second exclamation mark shows that the user has not been assigned a password. Now you see here there is a user called as Shaker. There is no exclamation mark here, that means user is not locked, and this whole big thing is the password of user Shaker. And here these two users that are just newly created, they don't have any passwords. We will see how to assign the passwords in the next section. Since this video has becoming bigger and bigger in time, or longer and longer in time, I'm gonna stop here and I will come back again and show you how to assign passwords. So this is the summary of all the things that we have done so far. So I will see you in the next section.